So I want to welcome a very special guest who's been more than patient with me, and welcome Liz. This is the Honorable Elizabeth Hurley, you all, and she is a judge in South Bend, Arizona, or South Bend, Indiana.
I wish Arizona right now. I'll tell you.
So, welcome, Liz. So, since you brought it up, Liz, let's talk about video hearings and audio hearings.
Sure.
I've had a couple of audio hearings, and
Hmm.
it's definitely not perfect. It never is perfect, but
Right.
you do it audio, and I think most people don't have landlines anymore, so you're dealing with cell phones, which can be unreliable. What are
Right.
the audio and video hearings? What do they look like for you? And I'd love to hear your recommendations to people for just making the most of them in a less than perfect situation.
Sure. Well, so what we're doing in my court specifically right now, my caseload is all felony criminal cases. And so we've reduced our work week in court to 1 day a week, and it's all video hearings done with people that are in custody in the jail. My other colleagues in the civil division are, handling family law hearings, other types of hearings, mostly by telephone. I think there are a few by video. So ours are mostly video, but I have a video feed with the jail, but then I have the lawyers calling in. So we don't have anyone actually in person in the courtroom anymore. And I think in my cases, it's a little bit easier uh, because it doesn't have the same back and forth all the time as I would say probably a family law hearing when I used to handle those cases. In family law cases, there's a lot of, quick responses often to what other people are saying. There's a lot of give and take and back and forth in the courtroom. Um, and that's much harder to do, I would say, in a telephone conference or a conference call or even a video call. Um, you don't have that same, you have to really, I think, stop, listen, wait for your response time, and all this whole time the court reporter's trying to take down whatever everything that's being said. And so it's just a much more difficult dynamic, I think, to try and get your point out the way you want to, make your arguments the way you want to. But I think we're all just going to have to learn how to, navigate in this new system.
So,
So,
and I know, at least in Arizona, unless we specifically request, all of our hearings are recorded audio and
okay.
video. So, do you still have court reporters then there? How's
We do actually. And we record everything also, but we're one of the last, I think, I don't know how much longer it's going to last, but we all have stenographic court reporters too, which I know isn't a thing everywhere still. Um, but if my court reporter is sick or something like that, I can record the hearings too. We do not video
okay?
though. We don't have cameras in our courtrooms at all. In Indiana, they're just not allowed.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So, when we're doing audio, um, and it's always important, I think, a court reporter or audio recording that we not talk over each other just so there can be a clear
Right.
record. And so I think what I heard you saying is really to kind of just wait and maybe be more patient than nor.
Right. It honestly, it might actually, it might really help with in the area of civility. If you think about it, if people have to learn how to, let each side speak their piece and then wait and then respond, there might be a lot less of the sort of negative that can go on during a hearing. You want to preserve that record. You want to make sure your point is heard, and if someone's talking over you, you lose that. And then when you factor in as well that sort of sometimes shoddy audio that can occur, and things like that, you want to make sure that you're really um, that you're making a good record and preserving your case.
Okay. So, and for the hearings that I have had via phone, what I've had to do is send exhibits down to the judge beforehand. So normally we send our exhibits down to be marked by the clerk.
Right.
And these are the exhibits we use at trial to be admitted into evidence. And, when I do a trial, then we have, I have my own set of exhibits, and I disclose or share with the other side a set of my exhibits, and then the clerk
Right.
has another set of exhibits. So, do you guys have provisions for people who have exhibits, and do you know how that's being handled? And do you have recommendations for people if they do have exhibits? Because as you know, from handling the family law cases, they're really sometimes document heavy.
Oh, sure. I haven't I haven't had to address that yet, but some of my colleagues have. I think right now they're being very flexible in the sense of, we do everything by e-filing as well now. Everything's electronic, and so I think what's probably going to start happening more is, e-filing your exhibits, as a confidential document, so the judge can see them, and only the parties and the lawyers can see them in the case, but other people outside of the case can't see them. Or it's definitely something that's going to have to start getting figured out. I would imagine that even emailing them, at some point, even to the judge or to the other lawyers and things like that, just to make sure that everyone has copies of everything, is going to become more of the norm.
Okay. All right. That helps.